I'm hitting record. I just hit it. I just pressed it.
Oh my God, you
did
did it out of nowhere. Like
Right.
I wasn't even ready, shooting from the hip. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Trying to Be Better podcast with Joel and Steve. Brought to you by Halliburton and Kurt Vonnegut Books and Walmart.
So it goes.
Yeah, baby. I'm drinking some herbal tea that my lovely wife brought down to me
That's so nice.
out of my favorite mug, my Kurt Vonnegut quote mug.
Yeah.
So we do have a topic for tonight, or today, or whenever you're listening to this out there in the internet world.
For you, we have a topic for you.
We have a topic for you
and for us
that we're gonna try and stick to. Like we're not throwing a curveball tonight.
Don't go putting restrictions on this, man.
I look forward to this. I look forward to this all day. I was like,
me too.
Steve and I are going to talk.
I was kind of chuckling to myself as I was setting this up. I'm like, I wonder if Joel's had enough Zoom for today.
I did have a Zoom thing. Some folks get together and we read through a book and we meditate together. And I did that just before.
So you're probably in a great headspace.
Well, here's the deal: is that I led the it was my turn to be in the barrel. I had to. I led the meditation.
Okay.
So I had to read it. So it's different when you're reading it. I'm trying to be intentional to give that, meditative space to other people.
Sure.
I didn't really receive it. And I'm grateful that I did.
That's an act of service though. I mean,
it's an act of service, man.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I'm not zoomed out. I actually, to the point, I went on a walk this afternoon with my mother and my brother who is in town. Hi, Colin. And I mentioned to him before we parted ways that I was going to be recording tonight. And my brother, and I'm going to call him out, and he's going to blush whenever he listens to this. My brother seemed to get legitimately excited about, he was like, what are you guys going to talk about? Like,
that makes me happy.
If for no other thing, if it gives my brother a little bit of joy, it's all worth it.
And I shout out to my sister who thinks this is delightful.
I love it. And your sister's Libby?
Libby, yep. She lives in Seattle.
Hi, Libby.
She's a really cool person.
Libby, one of the things that I plan to do for my 40th birthday in July was to go to your city of Seattle and see the sights. And it's kind of a carrot I'm dangling out in front of me to do when this whole shit show is over.
You should go hang out with Libby. Libby, I'm inviting Joel to your house.
Yeah, I'm going to park on your couch and eat your chips, scare your neighbors. Oh man. Great. Oh man. Well, thanks for joining us today, folks.
What are we talking about?
I think you mentioned in the text thread, I think you said something about moving from self-pity to compassion.
Yes. That was what was on my mind.
What sparked that, Steve?
Well, as well, you certainly know, and as anybody that's listened to the previous 4 episodes of this has an inkling of, I'm starting, at 20 years in recovery and, 49 years of chronological age to embark on a new adventure. I'll call it a spiritual journey.
Sure.
Largely because of you, Joel, and your experiences that you've had with an active meditation practice. And I have seen a change in you. That's the proverbial, I want what you have on that level. Right. And so I've started doing that intentionally. And this topic of compassion comes up frequently in that world. Yeah. Right. And so that's been really eye-opening for me on a lot of levels. And frankly, sometimes it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because there's a call to strength there.
Yeah.
And there's a call to honesty. And there's a call to love in all of that is kind of daunting.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked about it a lot. I mean, we've talked about it a lot, but not on this podcast necessarily, but anybody that knows us, and a fair amount of our listeners do. But for those of you that don't, Joel, one of the roots of our relationship, and correct me if I'm wrong, Joel, is that we're
Yeah.
really some
Do we have the
snarky-
same roots here? That's what I want to know.
Well, we're bound by a particular ability and sense of snark and sarcasm,
Yeah.
and the ability to lovingly ridicule anything and everybody in a
I
way
lo-
that is endlessly amusing to us.
I love to hate.
I loved it.
I love to hate. I think that's a Mudhoney lyric. I've been listening to some Mudhoney
Oh
lately.
boy.
I love to hate.
Right. And
Yeah.
you know, I mean, for those of you that are Muppet centered, we are Statler and Waldorf, just
Yeah,
not
dude.
quite as old.
I'm not like hate in that we love hate. I just love to hate on stuff. I love
Yeah,
to
it's
be
fun.
curmudgeon.
Uh-huh.
I love to criticize.
Bah
and,
humbug.
Bah humbug.
They sure sound like they're dead.
I can't wait. I can't wait to find a bunch of Statler and Waldorf memes
Right.
to put up on the grams.
But so there's that, and like that's very easy, and frankly, it's fun.
mhm,
I think it's endlessly entertaining.
mhm.
But like you sent me, and it's kind of funny that you sent me this meditation when you did,
Yeah.
because this is something that because that was after I mentioned this, and maybe that's why you sent it, but this meditation on the flower garden as a loving kindness meditation.
Yep.
Which I did that this morning, and it was frankly it was hard. It was really hard. I had a hard time. The first I don't know what you'd call it, ask of the teacher was to envision a flower garden in my heart.
Yeah. What?
And I'm trying to take this seriously and not be like, flower garden in your heart.
Right.
Like I'm going to do that.
Yeah. That's bullshit.
Pretty much. Yeah. And, yeah, I can go full Bubba on that. And, but like, no. Okay. Flower garden. Right.
Yeah. Saying yes to the flower.
I'll say yes to the flower garden. And, and
I had to make this happening.
I had to make an effort to do that. And where my head went, because I'm Lincoln, Nebraska centric, is the Sunken Gardens.
Oh, wow. Nice. Yeah.
And so, because I couldn't envision, it was either like some 17th century British
English garden.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't really wrap my mind around that. So I'll go to the Sunken Garden,
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Well, this is me, my defense mechanism kicked in, I think subconsciously maybe, where when it's asking like to pick a flower, you know, those big, huge green leaf things.
They look like elephant ears.
Yes.
That's the Sunken Gardens. Yes.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what my head picked as the beautiful, fragrant bouquet to give to people.
What did you do, Ray? It's like in Ghostbusters. What'd you do, Ray?
It's exactly kind of what it was like. And then I couldn't, like, I'm like, okay, this is not where this is supposed to be heading. And for those of you
that's great.
I'm talking about, like, the meditation was to pick out the most beautiful, most fragrant flower out of the garden that's born out of my heart, and then to start giving it to people.
Yeah. Well, right? It starts with the idea of loving kindness, or I think it's Sanskrit. Somebody can correct me on that, but metta being like, the first person you really give the garden to is yourself, because you have to take that effort to believe that there is one there. Mine looked differently than the Sunken Gardens, but that was I've done loving kindness meditations for a little while now, and they're always marked with the phrase like, we've talked about this, may you be at ease, may you have happiness, those sort of things. And you start with yourself, but this teacher, it was such a creative endeavor and such a beautiful, imaginative landscape to plant one within you first and then start giving it away. And I think some of the people, the first couple of things you think about is like a neighbor, and then like mother and father. Give it to your mother and your father.
Yes.
I needed that one for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, man. I want to go back to something that you said at some point, but I find it really fascinating that you were like, and this is a vulnerable we are not planning this. This is very vulnerable and beautiful and amazing,
yes.
Steve. But it really brought me a burst of joy to hear you say, or just kind of like wonder, maybe when you're like, you want something that person has, that you saw some change in me with the work because I came to meditation practice pretty much to run away from feelings, to run away from anxiety, to run away from, feelings of chaos. And it was sort of a life-saving endeavor. Like I'll do anything right now. And to know that, like, if anybody is listening and you have that thing, like, I need to try something else because I am stuck. That I don't notice. I mean, I noticed the change. I definitely have noticed that I dedicated to it when I thought I would give up maybe 6 months in, but that it has a changed me to somebody like you who has seen me from day one.
Right.
Like, that's not that this podcast is about me, but I find that
a little bit about you.
But that's real compassion, though, when you can see and listen to your friends say that, and you and I could easily slip into sarcasm right now, and we're not.
Yeah, totally. I don't even have that instinct isn't welling up in me right now to say something shitty to you,
dude. What's happening?
I don't know.
People are like, "Oh no, they're not going to be shitty."
I'm tuning out. Edge.
That tea is really good, babe. Thank you. I was talking to Kirsten when she eventually
thanks for clarifying for our radio audience.
But the garden, I mean, the garden for me was, I went really, it was really expressive. It was like this column of flowers shooting out from my heart center. And it made me think of potentially maybe my first tattoo. Like, I would get something similar in a certain.
Do you have any tattoos?
I have 0 tattoos.
I have 0 tattoos as well. I periodically think that I should do that, but then I don't.
Well, I think that, turning 40, I remember my dad always saying, well, don't get something if you get a job and and as an actor too, it's been like, well, get something that you can hide.
Right.
Otherwise, it's a pain in the butt. I definitely think I will get one soon. Kirsten's getting a really cool one, hopefully soon. So
nice.
But anyway, were you done talking about that meditation?
Kind of. I think I guess the point of even bringing that up was that I was kind of, I was a little bit not embarrassed for myself necessarily, but I definitely had this awareness of like, it was amazing that I was even listening to it.
Right. That you didn't pull the ripcord on it.
I did not pull the ripcord. Right. And that I was challenged by it because I know that, like, it's right. Right. And so I'm like, I'm going to stick with this because I know that it's right.
You mean, like, let me dig on that one. You know that it's right, like it's right to sit in meditation, or like it something clicked with you, it felt.
Yes and yes.
Okay. That's
like that visual of like of first of all envisioning the garden in myself.
Yeah.
And just trying to articulate that mentally and to have that vision, because I'm no stranger to mental visions, right? But one that's like that specific, and that intentional, and like having like, God, what does a beautiful fragrant flower look like to me?
Yeah.
And to have to grok on that for a minute, and then to start envisioning the people that I would give those to.
Yeah.
And what that looked like and what they would look like. And
it's
all very intense at, half a cup of coffee, o'clock in the morning, like, wait a minute, this is way more than, can I just have some deep bass and I'll think about the people or something, no,
that's but without that, like, without that scope, without that intention, I will just start thinking about them, and then I'll either start resenting them, or you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it
just in case anybody's thinking this is getting a little floofy. No, the resentment's real.
The resentment is real, and I will make up a resentment about all of you,
given
no direction. So that's why one of the things that you mentioned about that meditation that I found really lovely too, is that the teacher said something along the lines of, and we'll post about where this comes from. But
you're going to do that, right?
Yeah, I will do
Okay,
that.
good.
She said um, something along the lines of be aware and notice the expression of the person that you're giving the
Yes.
flowers to.
Yes.
Like, note that. Now,
That was what kind of what got me, because that's
yeah,
intense, because that's
yeah.
one of the things that I've done for years, and I don't know where I got it from. But if there's somebody that I'm like frustrated with or have bad feelings about, is I will envision them smiling,
Mm-hmm.
like when they're really overjoyed,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then that make that's a rather than them glowering at me or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like I will take that person, I will put them in my mind, and I will, what would they look like if they were overjoyed?
I've also done an acting exercise where we do a bunch of weird stuff, but we look into each other's eyes for a long, long, long time,
Mm.
and you see them, on the first day of their birth, them learning
Oh,
how to walk,
that's intense.
them trying solid foods, them shitting themselves, them being bathed by their mother, them getting hurt on the playground. Like you just see this person, and it's really an exercise it's an exercise in compassion. But the cool thing is about this meditation is that our ability to envision this person, and there goes through different versions, like mother, father,
Mm-hmm.
neighbor, loved one, neutral person like the
Yeah.
mail person or the checkout person at the grocery store, and then like the difficult person in your life.
Mm-hmm.
We can all envision those people with joy on their face.
Mm-hmm.
And then the story that we tell in this meditation, because we'll tell ourselves stories all day, but the story that we tell is that it's because of my heart, this garden here that I have sown and grown and worked on, and I give that to you, and I can imagine your joy as a result of that gift.
Mm-hmm.
That is not something that I think about driving around town.
Well,
Like,
and that was the thing that, like I said, I've done that visualization for a long time, but this morning was the first time directly that joy was the result of some act from my heart,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
And
right,
because that's, I mean, me, man, like I'm very quick to, no, it's not,
yeah,
I self-deprecating, and
yeah.
I can't, I am not capable. My tape for the longest time was like, I'm not capable of that kind of interaction.
Or that allowing yourself the juiciness of that feeling.
Right. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just not there.
And so that kind of goes back, go back 5 squares to the beginning of this topic, which is, I was thinking about as I was walking the other day, how impossible it is to be in that space when you're consumed with self, and
Yeah.
consumed with fear, and
Yeah.
consumed with anger, and consumed, right?
Yeah. Oh
Like,
yeah.
there's no room for that. There's no room
Right.
for that.
Right. Because whatever I'm trying to
There
come up
is
with
no there's that's the difference between self-pity to compassion.
yeah, right. Self-pity, this is the metaphor I'm trying to illustrate. I'm creating it on the fly. Self-pity always fills the room that you create for it.
Sure.
Right. So if it's a tiny room, it's full. There's nothing else that's going to get in there. If you make a big room and fill it with self-centeredness, fear, self-pity,
Oh, I can
self-loathing,
fill a big room.
but it's always full. There's not room for anything else. That's
Yeah.
what you're saying, right? Like,
Yes. Well,
and
there's just no, like, there would be no even, like, how do you plant a flower garden in a space that is 100% toxic?
exactly.
Like, it's
Like,
just not gonna happen.
yeah, you just took a bunch of Agent Orange and spilled it
Right,
all over the floor, and you
right.
threw some
Yeah.
seeds on it, and
Yeah,
now
but
you're pissed at nothing.
it's their fault.
It's their fault.
It's their fault that
Right.
Agent Orange is in there,
Right. Right. Although, yeah,
which might actually be true,
it might.
but it doesn't matter.
But here's the other thing, and the group that I did, we just talked about earlier, we did an equanimity meditation, and it's like
I don't know what that is.
What that means is, and this is a different topic maybe, but I am responsible for my own I am responsible for my own happiness and and other people. I want happiness for other people, but it it it's not up to me, right? So this meditation, it's
Right.
kind of, this two things are kind of bleeding together, right? Like
Mhm.
we cultivate that feeling of compassion with our imagination of giving these flowers to other people, but you could equally imagine that person, tearing them apart. You know what I mean? It's like
Mhm.
but the act of giving it to or sending that to is the point. The point is we can't control how anybody receives our stuff.
No,
You know what I mean?
that is 100% the truth.
And I am responsible for tending my own garden. So
Yes.
if I am pouring or allowing other people to
Yes.
poison the soil, that
Yes.
is on me,
Yes.
you know?
Right. If I'm setting myself up for the circumstances where I might get napalm poured all over my heart garden, like that's like that's that's me.
Yeah.
It's like the God, I'm kind of I'm behind the curve on this particular thing, but there's a
Mhm.
subreddit called Leopards Ate My Face.
What?
Yeah, well, and the thing is, it's the and my sister's like, yeah, that's a thing. It's been around for a long time. It's what it is. It's the thing of woman shocked, woman that voted for the leopards eating people's faces party is
Yeah.
shocked that a leopard ate her face.
Oh yes. Isn't that's like an Aesop fable tale too, of the scorpion,
And this Frog and the
this
Scorpion.
frog and the
You
scorpion,
ever heard
right?
the
Like,
Wookiee Foot song, Frog and the Scorpion?
uh
Oh,
I have not.
it's okay.
I have
We got to find that. Got to put it on the grams.
All right.
Wookiee Foot, Frog and the Scorpion.
I
It's
have not
so
heard.
good because at the end of it, the scorpion stings the frog, and the frog says, "Why'd you do that?" And the scorpion says, "Because I'm a scorpion, you dumbass fucking frog."
Yeah, I think Aesop wrote it differently, but that's the
Yeah.
gist. Like, pay attention when people show you who they are.
Yeah.
But that does not mean that if we're surrounded by what we perceive to be scorpions, that we don't have the capacity to send them love and joy and peace and all the things that we want.
That's a tough balance there.
See, that's where I think, when
Do
you
you
brought up,
send the compassion to the scorpion,
you have
to
to.
the leopard that's going to eat your face?
I mean, the equanimity says that I'm not going to let you eat my face, but I respect and honor you as a being that thinks that eating people's faces will give them peace and ease, just like I want.
Just like I want.
That was a lot of gymnastics there, man.
God, that was really
And
good though.
I am a dime store Buddhist, so I'm probably butchering these. So, somebody out there can correct me. Yeah, I don't have room. I don't have room. I don't have room to give you flowers if I'm shitting all over my own pond, you know?
Yeah, or letting people shitting all over it. There's no flowers to give. I can give you a bucket full of toxic sludge to carry around. I might even throw it in your face.
Right.
And then and then go either laugh or go, sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm really curious as to why, and I believe you when you say you didn't think that you were capable or had the capacity for that level of, it's tender. That's a tender, I mean, giving somebody a bouquet of flowers from your heart is a very tender,
And
gentle.
that's another part of that. I think that image was chosen very specifically because of the delicate beauty of flowers.
Right.
It's very delicate and they're very beautiful and they're very fragrant. It's a lot different than, visualize yourself slugging your buddy on the shoulder. What's up, man? Love you, bro.
Yeah. Visualize yourself buying your buddy a hot dog. I mean, Jack out there may have contention with that.
Right. That's a loving gesture.
It sure is. If you see a hot dog, will you grab me one?
Grab me one, yeah.
But why do you think because I'm fascinated too about those mini moments in meditation where you're like, and then you lean into it. Like, why do you think you're capable of saying, okay, flower garden. All right. I guess we're doing a flower. Like,
we're doing a flower garden. My flower garden consists of these really big green leaves that aren't very fragrant.
Uh-huh.
but it's what I got.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
God,
it's like,
but then I could picture, I got like, no, and so I'm having this while the teacher's teaching, and I'm like, no, that's not good enough. And I was fortunate enough to catch myself and not go into self-loathing about that.
Yeah.
And get to orchids.
Oh, wow.
So that became my flower.
So the elephant leaves weren't good enough?
They're not fragrant. And it was kind of, that felt like if I walked up to, the checker at the grocery store, that, the person that's just kind of there.
Right.
And there's a difference between like, hey, like, here's this orchid. It's, it's from my heart and it's for you. Is this, as opposed to this big green, I don't know what you're going to do with this, but it's yours. And I hope you like it.
But here's the thing. And I'm trying to, I'm definitely doing a spin job on this, but I feel like when you said, those big leafy things and you said sunken gardens, I was like, Kirsten and I love just staring at those things because they look like elephant. They're marvelous. They're wonderful.
Marvelous. That's how I feel about my neighbor's tobacco plants. Like the leaves on that thing are incredible.
Yeah, that's good enough, man. They're amazing. If your elephant,
but my default is to go to, I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing it wrong. I'm supposed to have the fragrant flower, and I got these friggin' elephant leaves.
Yeah. Why do you think you're able to lean into that though? I really want to get to
able to. I don't know.
Like why do you think now you're like, okay, I'll do this, whereas before it was like, nah, this is stupid?
I don't think I ever would have thought it stupid necessarily. I would have laughed it off or blown it off or whatever.
Right.
Right. Well, first of all, I wouldn't have been around people. I would never have encountered that had I not embarked on the, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't put myself in that position to even have that, be listening to that. I'd be listening to, the Morning Zoo radio show or whatever fuck thing.
Yeah. That was my worst. Like, they always have that. This is the best I got for that. This is the Joel and Steve Morning Zoo sound. I've got a minute. We're so zany.
Zenny.
Oh.
Be here all week. Tip your weight stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm really grateful that like touched you, that moved you. I
seriously thought you were going to get out a rubber chicken. That's what I thought you were heading towards. Or like one of those auga horns.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do with just my mouth sound, but it didn't work out. Gotcha. That's the only thing that I can start breaking records, but
don't do that. Although I notice for those of you that can't see, which is all of you besides me, Joel has a copy of Paul Simon's Graceland record behind him.
I put that on the other day while I was doing some work,
and
The Boy in the Bubble.
That's the song.
That's the song.
As soon as I saw that, I love that song.
I love that
especially
song
this year.
Yes.
It's like, it is not, he covers everything in that abstract vision lyric.
These are the days of miracle and wonder.
Yes. While the bomb is wired to the baby carriage.
Yep.
Like it's all happening. But these are the days. This is the long distance call. For some reason, that lyric, it just nails me. Because it says, it's not about what you're feeling right now.
No, dude.
This is the long distance call.
Yeah.
Long distance runner, whatever thing you want to throw out there. It's like we're moving to something bigger. So everybody strap in.
Yeah. And so everybody listened to Paul Simon's Boy in the Bubble. First track on Graceland.
It's amazing.
I'm really grateful though that I sent that to you kind of on a lark, maybe because we talked about, you had mentioned some of those meta phrases like, may you be at ease, may you be at peace.
Well, that's all back to Sharon Salzberg.
Yeah. And I thought, well, if you're on that trip, check this out. I mean, like,
sure.
And that's one of those things where I've moved away from my paid subscription to a McMindfulness app, and I'm trying other stuff.
You've said that a few times now. McMindfulness. Is that are you being derogatory? Is that
kind of? It's a phrase. It's the monetization of mindfulness. It's there are plenty of apps that you can pay X amount of dollars a month to have, full subscriptions to, or, it's the machine.
What are you, a purist?
I'm not a purist. I'm just like, well, I've been practicing this for a while, and I've actually experienced probably more I wanted to experience more of what in Buddhism they talk about the heart practices rather than just sort of secular breathing exercises, right? I wanted to dip into that metta and forgiveness and
So
loving
the
kindness.
McMindfulness didn't have the McMeta.
It does. It doesn't talk about it at that heart center. It doesn't get to it it does. I mean, those things are great. I don't want to call the particular app out
That's fine.
because if people are using that app, like, it's awesome.
Well, it's like judging somebody for getting into the Grateful Dead through Skeletons from the Closet.
Guilty as charged.
Right. So there you go.
So yeah, I don't know where I was going with that though.
I don't know either.
But I'm just really grateful that meant something to you, because I think it's cool that we can share that stuff. And
it was kind of perfectly timed.
Yeah.
Whether you meant to or not. But as you sent that to me, I was like, well, I'm listening to that tomorrow.
Well, I listened to that morning and then got some challenging, I guess you would say, news about a family member, and then on the phone with that family member for a half hour where it got pretty vulnerable and emotional. And I was able to tell him, like, I sat in meditation and I gave you flowers for my heart this morning.
And how'd that go?
And it was he was moved. It was a really emotional conversation, and there's a lot of landmines with this particular family member.
Yes.
But the bulk of the conversation was really beautiful, where we're sharing from the heart. And I was like, I leaned into that, and I didn't roll my eyes, nor did I start over emoting. I just took it in. And, and then he talked about how he prayed for me. And I said, he gets probably up earlier than I do. And I'm like, well, then, you're reminding me to sit in meditation. It was really gorgeous. And then I sent him I sent him the link to a readout of that meditation. And he read through it.
Oh,
said that was really beautiful. So it was a point of connection. So I imagined flowers being sent to people, and actually sent that out to you and him. And, I got to see the joy returned. I mean, that can be an imaginative experience for anyone out there, and it can be a real experience if you do that stuff. And I guess, I don't know, I guess maybe this is interesting in the time of solstice, Christmas, whatever you want to call it, of gift giving. Like, give the gift, but then sit there and watch them enjoy it.
Right.
I bet you do that with your kids, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, that's like Holly and I, my wife and I, haven't given each other Christmas gifts for years now. Largely,
we don't.
I mean, for us, it's just like we spend the money on the kids, and I mean, I have enough electric socks.
You have electric socks?
No, I'm kidding. I mean, just whatever. Like, what are we going to get each other?
Right. Yeah. Kirsten and
I
do the same thing.
We have, more pressing concerns along those lines. But anyway, the point is that, right. Like this year, we're getting the kids some pretty cool stuff. Nothing extravagant, but we're going to get to watch them freak the fuck out.
Yeah, man.
And be, have that kid on Christmas morning experience,
Wow.
And and I'm very excited for that, to watch that go down,
Yeah. And like, that's not, I mean, I guess the thing what is great about starting and trying to
I should mention, because Holly's going to listen to this.
Yeah.
She gives great presents.
Oh, I'm sure. Our wives do much better at that than us.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
I'm also that person that, like, I want, like, Kirsten will get a gift and she'll wait till the day of, like, her birthday or Christmas. And I'm like, open it now. Like, let's just open it now. Or if I get her something and I have to hold on to it for longer than a week.
It's the worst. Yeah.
I can't do it.
Right.
But what I was saying is that having some semblance of a practice of some sort that includes compassion as an idea, is that, or appreciative joy or loving kindness or whatever, any of these things, like, you don't have to wait till Christmas to do that. You can kind of make your own, like, Christmas experience. You can just imagine it, and it's just as real. I don't know. Like, I spend enough time worrying about the state of the nation. I spend enough time worrying about shit I can't control. And then it leads me into panic attacks and anxiety. I have to offset that. Like you said, that room, I can fill it with myself, or I can fill, the stadium within my heart with love and kindness and good things. And I don't. Why does the destruction take more effort or take less effort?
Because it's
Why is it
easier.
easier? Why is
It's
it?
ju-
But why? Why is it easier?
Well, I can think of a fair number of people that would say original sin.
Oh God.
Okay. That's the brokenness, Joel.
So that story that we're innately sinful, bad, apart from.
That's the way my parish priest talks about it is.
Mhm.
God, I just love it so much, actually, to be perfectly frank. But it's for whatever reason, we have that in us.
We do
Right.
have that. I agree.
And whether it's a nature nurture thing, whether it's you were struck by the devil the minute you were conceived, or whatever, is irrelevant.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, right? And it doesn't
Yeah.
even. That's the thing that made me listen to the guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he talked about something that's very real in my person in a way that I could relate to, right?
Yeah, I'm going to challenge you on this, though. Are you okay with that?
No, Joel, I'm not okay with you challenging me.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, hit me.
I don't believe that at all. And I was raised in similar ideology. I don't believe that we come out of the womb broken.
I don't either. I don't believe we're coming out of the womb broken. I've looked at I've held to my brand new baby, and the fact that some organization would proclaim them broken from birth really pisses me off. I hate it.
And that's why
my perfect baby girls is broken. Go fuck yourself.
Yes, you're right. I don't mean to laugh at that. It was just very Tony Soprano the way you said it.
Well, I was listening to James Caan earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Those fucking people.
But the innate goodness of a sweet, innocent baby.
Yes.
Like the innate goodness that is within all of us.
Right. So then you would go to, well, our parents fucked us up. We were born perfect and sweet to these people that made us this broken shell of a human being trying to make it through. And I don't subscribe to that either.
I don't either, but I also think that there is something the mind wants to think, and when we start experiencing pleasure, things that make us feel good instantly,
I like that.
We want to do that as often as we can.
Yes.
And we want to avert ourselves from anything that is painful, uncomfortable, reminds us of dying, whatever it is.
Yes.
And so we create these patterns over and over. And what I think, the goal of, even if you just want to call it, sitting and relaxing or meditation or whatever, the goal of that is to just see that for what it is and cultivate this sense of understanding that you don't have to chase every thought down the drain, and you don't need to chase every high off a cliff,
right.
And that's what
as thrilling as that is,
as thrilling as it probably would be for that, couple of seconds.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I mean, I definitely am not perfect at this idea of compassion. I'm sure there are people out there.
Well, I had to
be complete jerks.
Yes. The people that know us that are listening are just like, Jesus Christ, listen to these guys.
Yep. And going back to what we said a couple weeks ago, I don't remember, it was last week. It was like, the point of this is not for us to be better than anyone else. The point is to be better than ourselves, from day to day.
I'm just trying to be better than you, Joel.
You are winning at that because my hair has gotten to the point where it's just long and crazy. It's like you're better at the hair game, I think, right now.
Well, I'll tell you the secret. Shout out to Brill Cream.
Brill Cream?
Brill Cream, BRYL.
That sounds like something from you got to get you a Brill Cream. Everybody listen up.
No, hold on. You've seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
I have.
When Jack's getting ready to what's his name in the movie?
Oh Lord.
Randall.
Yep.
And when he's getting ready to get zapped at the end and they're putting the electrodes on and they put the gel on and he looks at him and says, "Little dab will do ya."
Yeah.
That's Brylcreem's marketing slogan.
Oh, wow. So it's been around a minute.
Yeah. Well, the thing about that is in the show Mad Men,
Yes.
the product those guys would have used to get their hair that way was Brylcreem.
Where do you get this Brylcreem?
Out
Out
of
of
the
the
sell
back
it at
of
Walgreens. Now I buy it from our
back
favorite,
of the trunk.
our favorite online purveyor, because that's easy to get it there. Walgreens stopped carrying it, and I'm addicted. It's great. It's great stuff.
I've just kind of been putting a little bit of pomade in my hair and letting it go. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, Brylcreem, dude. It's where it's at.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, so I had to look up the definition of compassion, and this is where it gets weird for me. From like dictionary.com, and I had Merriam-Webster too. They're both basically the same. Merriam-Webster is consciousness of others' distress together with a desire to alleviate it.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's where, I had that when we were texting the other day about that. I had what I call it, something about ultimate, not pure empathy.
Pure empathy. Mm-hmm.
Where I had this feeling for something that's close to me, where I saw very clearly, it was a blinding flash of the obvious is what it was, but like, oh my God, like there's some serious, like there's suffering there. And I'm probably, largely to blame for it.
Right.
Right. And your text back was like, well, that's called compassion.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that what that is? That's what started this whole thing. Like, I'm 49 years old, and you're like, dude, that's actually just compassion.
But that's, I mean, the thing is, like, that is a simple idea and a complicated process, because like we've illustrated tonight, that it takes actual effort to cultivate that sense of, that person is suffering. I have suffered before. I know that I can't fix them, but I can try to alleviate that, and trying to it's the serenity prayer, like
wow. Mm-hmm.
To accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two. That wisdom, but to know the difference, that's equanimity, that's compassion. That's like, I don't know if this story is true, but I've heard it said, and I think it illustrates compassion really well, where, like, I don't know if it was a high up teacher or it might've been the Dalai Lama. They were traveling around, and there was this kid in the village, and this kid in the village was like raised by, wild dogs or something. And it was really, feral. It was a wild kid, and it was scared of people.
Mm-hmm.
And, according to legend, according to this, I don't even know if this is true, but the teacher went up to this child and, like, petted him, and like got down in the dirt with him, and petted him, and treated him like he was acting, and essentially met this feral kid
where he was
at.
Yep.
And I don't know about you, but it's so hard. It's even harder now that you and I can't just shoot the shit, in my basement while listening to records talking about this.
Right.
Like, we're losing that ability to meet people where they are. And that is like, that requires extra effort these days.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to a podcast, Duncan Trussell's Family Hour with, and he had, Douglas. Oh my God, I forget his name. Anyway, this guy was talking about how like, when we look into the eyes of another human, he was talking about billionaires and how disconnected they are from the world. And he was saying, all they would need to do is just find some other human in their life and look at them in the eye and breathe at the same rate they're breathing for a sustained period of time, and have that connection with each other, to meet people where they are. And like, the essence of meditation being kind of just the anchor of your breath. We can anchor our breath with people around us, regardless of how they voted or how they look or who they love or any of that shit. We can meet people where they are. And like, I'm so grateful for this practice, because I don't do that naturally. It's not that, I don't think it's because of original sin. It's just because I don't know what it's. Yeah.
Well, that's, and that is obviously, you and I know this from experience, the strength of the recovery communities.
Yeah, dude.
How many talks did I have growing up? Well, Steve, if he would just apply himself, and why don't you just apply yourself? And
Right.
Maybe you shouldn't live the way you're living and blah, 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 on and
Yep.
on and on and on and on. And it's
Yep.
like, okay, thank you for that well-meaning advice, person, right?
Yeah.
But
The
then to
guy.
have somebody that obviously, when I was willing to hear the message,
Yep.
say, oh, that's great, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
right.
fantastic. Let's sit down. I'll crawl in the hole with you.
You're in, yeah, or like when you're trying to help somebody, and instead of pity, you receive, oh, that's an interesting spot to be. That's a good spot for you because you're going to be
right.
you're going to be willing to change because it sucks so bad right now.
Right. Yeah.
Like
like you're right where you're supposed to be, buddy.
It's the difference between sympathy and empathy, because like if people get it, if people have been there, then they know how to help. And that's like true compassion. The guy's name on the Duncan Trussell podcast was Douglas Rushkoff. He's like this MIT scholar genius guy, but he's pretty out there. Anyway,
if he's on Duncan Trussell Family Hour, he's pretty out there.
He's out there, baby. I love that. Let's plug that podcast.
Sure.
I want to have Duncan Trussell on.
I could listen to his advertising plugs.
Dude, he's so great.
He's so great.
If we ever get an actual sponsor, I'm going to try to do him justice. But the other thing about recovery community, another shout out to Rob Bell, is that he talks about recovery communities and their ability to embrace the mess. Like he's talked about that several different times, like how important it is for us as human beings, not just because we're addicts, alcoholics, overeaters, whatever, that like find people that are okay with you being messy and like that the mess, the suffering, that's the starting point, and everybody understands their own starting point, their own mess, and they're able to kind of be in the, not that it's not solution oriented and we all just sit around and complain. It's just that our common mess is the starting point, like our common attachments, if you will, our common whatever sins, whatever you want, whatever brand of that word you want to use, but that's like real compassion. If you're able to say, I have this mess, I have this suffering, I suck at this thing, and I see that in you, and let's work together to help each other out, and that takes a lot of effort, man.
It does take a lot of effort.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, so I don't know that we solved disconnection and hate in the world, but
no,
like, this is the way, as the Mandalorian would say.
Yeah, boy, is that fantastic. I don't know why I avoided that for so long. I think it's because I was I came of age during the first 3 movies.
What do you mean by that? What happened in that theater that you came of age to?
Well, nothing, unfortunately, but
but anything new Star Wars was.
Well, then those second 3 movies came out and they were awful, and I got off the bus.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something. Steve. Okay, keep going. I want to come back. I want to come back to the prequels,
and then Disney, and I'm like, I just whatever. I don't care. There's a lot of content out there. I'm going to watch something else.
Okay.
And you said you liked it. I'm like, okay, all right, fine. And then I heard the whole, it's like a Western set to Star Wars. Like, that's kind of interesting because I love the spaghetti Westerns and all that. Yeah. Good. Yeah. The Magnificent Seven.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep.
So, and then, then we got a Disney Plus thing through the phone thing and whatever. We had Disney Plus, and then the girls started talking about their friends are like, okay, well, we can watch that because the girls, and I love it.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's really, and then I didn't know that Jon Favreau joint.
That guy,
like Double Down's killing it.
He's doing so many amazing things, especially with the Marvel universe. We won't even go there, but if you watch the behind the scenes stuff, they have a whole series of the behind the scenes stuff of the Mandalorian from the first season, and the tech that he uses to make some of those shots, it's insanely cool. They have like this whole like LED, video dome, and it's so cool. Anyway,
well, he's come a long way since Vegas, baby.
Yeah, he has.
It's one of my favorite movies, but I mean, like to see, like that almost makes me appreciate swingers even more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did you see Made? The hymn,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah, it's okay. It makes me sad.
It's not swingers. It's definitely
It's a
way more
sad.
depressing.
Yeah, it's way more depressing.
I love the hold on. I'm not going to get off this podcast without saying I love the prequels. I love them when I was in came out when I was in high school. So I was like, oh cool. Me and my friends would go down and I remember
That's the age gap.
right. So I went and I liked them. So I remember going down with like my girlfriend at the time, Tiffany, my friend Ben, Clint, and Bjorn. And I know a couple of those folks listen to this podcast. So hello. But
Hi guys.
I remember liking it and thinking it was super cool. And then later on, it became this thing in the world where it wasn't cool to like them because they were kind of cheesy and the CGI was kind of over the top. And Jar Jar Binks is, pretty racist. So I was like, I don't know if I should like this. But I having now, I'm a total Star Wars nerd. Everybody, I read the books, I watch the Clone Wars cartoons, I do
You're
it all.
pretty nerdy about the Star Wars.
I love. Okay, yeah, I have an LED Millennium Falcon light up thing right over there.
See, that makes my heart flutter. Just because
But the sequels, I got to say this: the sequel story, the story of that is really, really fascinating and interesting. And Kirsten and I, beginning a pandemic life, she's like, "I've never seen the prequels," and I'm like, "Let's do it. Let's start at the beginning." We will pause and you can ask any question. And it was so amazing. And I had a larger appreciation for those. Okay. And I really like the Clone Wars and Rebels and all the things. And also how to
I haven't done any of that.
Dude, you got to.
I also haven't read Dark Tower.
Oh, shit.
See? I mean, dude, I only have so much time. It's like I'm doing the best I can here.
Man, maybe, you know what you should do? You should because my next thing I want to, because I've read through all of the Dark Tower books twice. Oh
my God.
Yeah. I love the Dark Tower series, and that movie can kiss my ass. It was terrible.
Okay.
But one thing I haven't done yet is listen to the Dark Tower novels. Oh, because apparently the same narrator does all of them, I think.
Oh.
And apparently really Stephen King just can't stop talking about how he's like, there's nobody else that could read these books.
Okay.
So maybe that's the next trip I do with those.
Well, that's how I consume, books these days, is through the audio, because I have time in my car. But there's so many good podcasts right now that it's like, I mean, thank you for anybody that's still listening to this.
Yeah.
Because believe me, I know there's so many other things you could be listening to. So
there's a lot. And thanks for your ears for a little while.
For real.
I mean, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts until we made this, and I just listened to myself over and over. I'm such a narcissist.
I'll give it a once through to listen to for technical glitches, which by the way, I'm working on. So
I'll listen to it once to try to catch all the references and try to share them out, especially any music that we share. So
sure.
I am grateful, Steve, that you and I are unafraid as two dudes to talk about more heartfelt things in this manner and share it with the world.
That's what keeps our friendship alive.
Yeah, man. Oh, so the last time, before I feel like the conversation,
we're wrapping it up. Yeah.
But to follow up from last time, the things that you said you weren't doing, are you doing them? Like the things that you were like, well, I could eat a little better, or I could.
No. I've been eating like foods, but portion control has been a disaster. I've been stress eating.
I want Matt, if you're listening, please, I hope you're listening. I want you to do a cover. We talked about you doing covers of songs. I want Matt or somebody out there to do a cover of Prince's Pussy Control, but portion control.
Portion control. That was terrible. Sorry.
That was so good. Well, we mentioned I'm going to get on the fucking treadmill. I did. And I also, you mentioned the yoga videos. I've been doing yoga every morning.
Oh, good.
Since we last did this. Yeah. So I'm trying to be better.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I've got on the elliptical a couple times since we talked last. That's good.
I'm a little jealous you have one of those. I don't love the treadmill.
I hate the treadmill. I don't love the elliptical, but I like it. Mm-hmm. And I have I got back problems, all kinds of shit. But the elliptical I can do that. It doesn't hurt. And it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. I can't, you're kind of a runner. I can't run.
I
can't-
never
I don't
actually
run.
enjoyed running. I've run what I think
Run marathons. You don't enjoy it?
half marathons. I've ran like
Okay.
a dozen half marathons.
And you don't enjoy it.
What I really enjoyed was the benefits of running,
Yeah.
and I loved running the half marathons because the Lincoln
Mm.
Half Marathon is amazing,
Yeah.
and the other one, the Half C, is fun too.
You've talked
And
about
some
it
of the other
like a
10K
party.
races. The shout out to Pink Gorilla Events out of Lincoln,
Yeah.
Nebraska, because they really they run a good race.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
They throw a party. It's kind of like a party.
It
like a
is, yeah. It's
race.
like it's like a party that you're running at. You know,
That's great.
it's great.
And-
Market to market, amazing, huge party. It's
And
just
that's a
like
great
7,000 person party. It's great.
It's a
on
great
wheels.
metaphor for, we've talked about meditation a lot, but it's a great, like, you don't have to like it.
Right,
It-
right.
It's like the benefits of it. It's like, I don't know. I was talking to somebody last night and he was like, I can't really, I sit for a little bit and I can't do it. I'm like, well, I mean, it's not about,
But that's the same thing as training for long distance runs. Is you hit the wall. You hit the
Yeah.
wall. It's like, I can't go another fucking step. If there was
Yeah.
somebody that could come get me, I would have them come get me, because this is
Yeah.
awful. This is the
Yeah.
worst decision I've ever made. And then a quarter of a mile later,
yeah,
it's amazing.
that's got to do something. That's got to like rewire your
Well, it
brain.
does.
Just like, yeah,
Because
it's got
that's a legit thing. That whole runner's high thing. That's like the first 3 or 4 miles was always very hard.
Mhm.
And then the last 8 miles, piece of cake.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
really quite. I mean, the last mile could get kind of tough, especially towards the end when I wasn't training as much because of my back.
Mhm.
But whatever, the point is that once you break through that wall, then it's gravy. It's not even a thing. I just
Wow.
jam out to the tunes and there's the
Mhm.
finish line.
Yeah.
It's
I don't
amazing.
know, man. My knees scream too loud.
Well, so
I like
there's
my
that.
bicycle.
I love biking. We've talked
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. I love
love
talking
you.
to you about all the things. Find us on the Instagram, everybody.
And we got a really nice email from an
Oh,
old friend of
cool.
mine. Guy used to sing in a band that I played guitar in. So shout out to Cheryl. You know who you are. And sorry
Cheryl.
about that, Jeff. I know your name's Jeff. But long live String Puppet Orchestra.
You guys were fun to go to.
We were fun for all 4 shows.
Maybe if we start getting consistent emails, we can read them a little bit.
Oh, listener mail.
Listener mail, dude.
That'd be cool. So that email address is ttbbpodcast@gmail.com. Please send us a shout. It's always
Yeah,
good to hear from
send us
people.
stuff to listen to, stuff to think
Yeah.
about, correct us.
For
I don't
real.
know. Send us more.
Good luck
fan
with that, by the way.
And find us on Instagram. I can't bring myself to start a Facebook yet, but
It's the same company, Joel.
I know it's
the
just it's
same
a
people.
totally different world,
It
man.
is.
But the Instagram is trying to be better podcast.
Trying
Yep.
to be better podcast. Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Well, I love you, buddy.
I love
really
you too. I think we did it.
We did it.
All
Nailed
right.
it. See you next time.
Yeah. See you next time. I'm going to press stop now.
Bye.
Bye.